Protestantism was sweeping Europe. The Catholic Church was in collapse. It was necessary for the Catholic Church to reform itself. This is what we call the Counter Reformation. As early as the 1400s, there were people in the Catholic Church that realized it needed reforming. They realized that bishops and popes were living like kings, while peasants were living like paupers. Men like Monk Savonarola preached about the indignity of the Catholic Church hoarding wealth. In his greatest coup, we have the bonfire of the vanities. Savonarola had people gather trinkets, treasures, silver, gold, and he lit these trinkets on fire. It was better to be poor than it was to be evil. At first, Savonarola was supported by Pope Alexander, but eventually the Pope determined that he was preaching dangerous doctrines. He was excommunicated, and in 1498, Savonarola was executed in Florence. In the wake of the Protestant wave of the 1500s, some of these Catholic reformers established new religious orders. These religious orders were focused on service and spiritualism rather than on taxes and treasure. One of these orders was the Society of Jesus, known as the Jesuits, a militant order founded by a man named Loyola. In 1534, Ignatius of Loyola, a Basque soldier and monk, founded this new order, the Jesuits. The Jesuits were going to change their focus. They were going to focus on education as a way to keep the Catholic Church alive. They're going to found missions and schools and universities. The Jesuits are still around today. And Jesuit education is still considered to be one of the best educations one can get. In 1545, Pope Paul III called the Council of Trent. The Council of Trent was controversial from the very beginning. It was called for the purpose of clarifying church doctrine and curbing some of the practices the church was doing that a lot of people didn't like. It had some pretty effective results to it. It did curb some of the economic hardships that the Catholic Church was putting on the people. It did demand regular training of its priests. It even got rid of those absentee bishoprics that we've talked about before. But probably the most important thing that it did, the Council of Trent banned the sale of indulgences, probably the most hated thing during the Protestant Reformation. But it wasn't all friendly. The Council of Trent also realized that to protect the Catholic Church, they would have to issue a statement of no compromise with the Protestants. There could be no compromise. They even took bold action against any Catholic priest that was questioning the church. The Council of Trent was a bundle of problems. One of the big issues the Catholic Church had was its treatment of women. Women couldn't be priests or bishops or popes. Women could be nuns. And before the Renaissance, nuns tended to be secluded in convents. During the Renaissance, women took on more roles in the Catholic Church. It became acceptable for nuns to venture out of the convent and help the poor, help the orphans, help the sick. In some cases, these nuns even established schools. People like Mary Ward in England established the first European girls' school. Teresa of Avila, one of the most famous spiritual leaders of this time period, ended up reforming the rules of her own Carmelite order. She believed the Catholic Church might be getting too lax in its spirituality. And she put in strict rules for the nuns to follow. Probably the low point of the Counter Reformation, or Catholic Reformation if you prefer, was the Inquisition. The Inquisition was a church court, and it came in a couple of different varieties. The Roman Inquisition was the original one. It starts in 1542, and its sole purpose was to counter the Protestant Reformation. The Roman Inquisition allowed the Catholic Church to try people that were accused of such crimes of being Protestant, or witchcraft, or breaking church law. The Spanish Inquisition takes the Roman Inquisition to the nth degree. Much, much harsher punishments. The Spanish Inquisition starts in 1478. And while it was also being used to punish Protestants and practitioners of witchcraft, this particular Inquisition was aimed at Jews and at Muslims as well. And the Spanish Inquisition was not beyond using torture in order to get confessions. Free thought and education is always the enemy of any tyranny. And if the Catholic Church wanted to be the power in the world, they needed to control thought. The problem was the Protestant Reformation had taken off at about the same time that Johann Gutenberg had invented the printing press. And these Protestant tracts were everywhere. People were reading the books and their minds were being changed. The church's solution to this? Prohibit the books. The Catholic Church put out an index of prohibited books, books that it was sinful to read. It was said that if a good Catholic read something off of this index of prohibited books, that they would lose their soul. This list of books continued well into the modern period. The time period of the Reformation and Counter-Reformation was a time period of turmoil. While the Catholic Reformation did renew the zeal and faith of many Catholics, it drove others into the waiting arms of Protestantism. The Jesuit power increased, and the Protestant Church was unable to remain one force as well. The Protestant Church also broke up. Luther and his followers end up denouncing the beliefs of people like the Anabaptists and Heydrich Zwingli. Calvinism ends up denouncing Lutheranism. Religious freedom is expensive. Political revolutions came on the back of both the Catholic Reformation and the Protestant Reformation. The Protestant Reformation at least indirectly encouraged the formation of independent nation-states, as people started recognizing their own national identity separate from that of the church. Kings and queens wanted the church less involved in their daily life, and political power became separate from the churches. Nations and churches that had always been aligned were now broke apart.